I just saw this comparison of the best debut albums in South Africa. Shout out to Real Sihle IV for this tweet that made the rounds and was posted on Slick on Live too. So it was a comparison on different albums. One album that was mentioned was Avery by Emtee, Tolofelo by Cassper, and also Paradise by A-Reece, Peli Makaveli, Before Now, Heads and Tails, Pro Kid, and also Yellow by Shane Eagle. I ranked my favorite 8 here in terms of that question that was posed. And my number 1 is the one and only Avery by Emtee, bro. When Emtee dropped that exactly 10 years ago, a decade that album is celebrating now, hip-hop was actually now bubbling and it was becoming, or had become, the best genre in South Africa, thanks to the likes of Cassper Nyovest for paving the way, thanks to the likes of Pro Kid when he dropped his album Head and Tails. But I will not talk about that one because I actually tapped into Donkey Sound more, and I really loved that one more than the debut album got Pro Kid. However, I'm still here with Avery. Avery just was such a banger in terms of it being a cohesive album. It having the likes of Dream, the likes of Winning, the likes of Pearl Tusi, Roll Up. Those are bangers, bro. Hits upon hits, and the album was also a top winner in terms of receiving so many accolades, in terms of paving the way for Emtee and actually him growing into the artist that he has since become. That trap style that he introduced for all other rappers to follow, like even though Peli Makaveli also emulated that type of vibe where Emtee introduced not a focus on raps but more a focus on just vibes and trap music. My number 2, this one is my favorite debut album, which is Bad Hair by Nasty C. Nasty C, bro, when he dropped that, I was like, wow, what a clever artwork in terms of him just making sure that these are his fans with all bad hair, and him making up the whole artwork with the bad hair too. Besides that, the music. I smoke a lot more, and people around me say it's a bad habit. He also had Vent, he also had Eric Rush also do his shit there, bro. Allah, shout out to Checo for that hook. There were so many impressive parts in that album that made sure that Nasty C became the artist that he is right now, and the youth all gravitated towards Nasty C. Thunderstorms are coming right now. However, we're not there. We're talking about Nasty C's album right now, and the fact that that album made sure that he can grow into him actually making an extensions which had French Montana, Allow, and also had like a good body of work to actually expand his career beyond that tape 2. Number 3 has to be Tolofelo by Cassper Nyovest. Yo, first album in the bag, I hope you bought it, bro. I remember when I watched that music video when I was still a youngin, and I was like, whoa, this black and white, I can feel the hurt from Cassper Nyovest from the fact that he's been grinding and his moment has finally arrived, and now that it has arrived, he's making sure that he uses it well, bro. The impact was there because now everyone had ponytails because of Cassper Nyovest, bro. Imagine. I remember I was like, nah, what a shit hairstyle. What is this? Is this elite marketing? You had people who were like, no, this is elite marketing. You'll see Cassper after he gets a lot of accolades and get into the game, he will soon cut his ponytail off so it can show that he's now established in the game. You had people say that shit, and I was like, okay, dope. Whatever works for him, and that ponytail worked for him because a lot of people were just doing Cassper Nyovest dances, bro, and his impact was felt in terms of that album. Number 4 has to be Paradise by A-Reece. What an album by A-Reece, by the way. I feel like he was chained by the fact that he was still an ambitious artist, so the sound wasn't really the sound that we now get from A-Reece, but rather a sound that the entertainment industry was pushing towards the people. Like Umgani was a hit, but Umgani is not necessarily a song that we could hear from A-Reece right now in the present day. What's the song that I like very much on that album? What you in it for? 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 What you in it for the long? beautiful songs that you got. There was even Amanda Black and a nice song, and Jay Jody also really did his job as well as an older brother in that album to form a nice cohesive tape for A-Reece. And after that, he just peaked into a better artist, finding his own niche and his own capabilities along the way. Number 5 is Before Now by Blackie so Mnyama. Yo, Majita. I remember hearing this album for the first time, and I was still in varsity, and Blackie was this artist who came through in the game and changed everything because his verses were fire in all channels. In piano he's rocking, but he also had this main focus on hip-hop. And once he gave us Big Time Slapper, we were like, no dude, drop your album so we hear you more. And he dropped it. I remember listening to it. It was a cold day. Wore my headphones. I was like, woo! Stepping is literally hitting so hard right now. Uppity uppity up is really up. You know, he's like, Blackie, I don't think I'll ever make my best song ever because I still have so many songs to make. There's one line that he says on Uppity, and that literally is the same theme right now, because I don't think Blackie has made his best song. Maybe David, you know, from a fan perspective, but from him, I'm sure he has not yet made his best song. But David really is and was the song for me from Blackie, especially from that tape. It really did well for him. 6 is Yellow by Shane Eagle. Oh, Shane Eagle, bro. He had this era where he had everyone on a chokehold, bro. And everything that he dropped was really so hot. And I remember when he dropped that song was Pretty Ugly. And it was really a hit, brah. And people really gravitated to his music because he was not nonchalant, but he was really introspective in his writing, and also he was being compared to the next J. Cole, and he was chilling with Double Bass. However, my favorite tape from him has to be his mixtape, bro. I still play it to this day in terms of it having so much replay value. There's differences in that tape because you get even the features. You have Nasty C, you have Patrick XX Lee, who was running shit back then, and these verses aren't limited to only raps, because you get songs like Round About featuring Collaborate, and you get niggas like Loot and also niggas like Baz who can also sing and also rap on your fucking tape. So that tape is not Yellow. I'm not talking about Yellow, but the project that I like from Shane Eagle was that, bro. And last but not least, Peli Machiavelli is my 7th. I like the intro there. I like Dagwood, and I especially like the fact that Zushi Kokdo was the one cooking in terms of making all that shit happen. However, I do think his sophomore album was a bit better than his debut album. And last but not least, Head and Tails. I still need to tap into that. I tapped into the album got Donkey Son. Yo, on a pro kid, you were running this era, bro. I remember this era, and he kept on mentioning places like Bara. And okay, this guy is really proudly from Soweto, and he's rapping his shit, and also rapping Ivy League. Every song he kept on mentioning Ivy League, Baba. Thank you, Tanki Sani. And I really liked the fact that he was really humble and also really confident in his demeanor of being the greatest rapper in SA.